You listen to BBC Radio Lancashire. Hope you're okay. Staying home, staying safe during this time. And while we stay home, some people are using this time to develop new skills, and some people are using this time to write books, including Natalie Reeves Billing. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Oh, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I'm loving this. So you've written a book, a children's book called My Mummy is a Monster. And my children are monsters. And it's a bit of an ingenious concept, this. What's it called, the way that you've written this?
Okay, so I called it Split Perspectives, and I set up a social enterprise called Split Perspectives as well to address the idea of a dual narrative. So there's always two sides to every story. And I thought how interesting that was when it comes to children and parenting. You're looking at things from a child's perspective and them also being able to look at why we do the things we do and make the decisions we make. So yeah, that's where it came from.
And did you write this before lockdown, or has this happened organically through lockdown?
Well, it's really funny that this happened. I was already working on this for a good few months beforehand with the idea of this split perspective thing, but then it just felt sort of like serendipity when I started to actually feel like a monster with having the kids around me quite all the time and not having a minute to myself and trying to write in that sort of bubble. And so I thought, wow, okay, this is even more relevant than I ever thought it would be. You know, we're all feeling like monsters, and it's even more important to understand why we feel the way we feel.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what? I was having a conversation with a mum this week who was going a little bit stir crazy with her own kids. And I said, basically, all you have to do is put yourself in their shoes, because all they want is to be seen, safe, heard and loved. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they need. But you've got two children.
I have.
And how old are they?
They're 7 and 6, a boy and a girl.
And how have they been coping with lockdown?
Well, funnily enough, they've only now started to get a bit niggly, I'd say. Up until now, they don't really get the big concepts, do they? They kind of think of it as a sort of summer camp or something until they realise, oh, okay, this is going on a bit long now, and you start seeing that they get a bit more needy. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I've noticed that my two seem to have regressed just a little bit, just, you know, the needing to be around us quite a lot, needing to be touched and held. So I just feel as if they've noticed subliminally that things have changed. I think that that's why it's even more important to stay being mum and dad and not being this tyrannical teacher that we're expected to be.
I'm with you on that.
You know, it's so hard, and that's why I'm so glad there have been so many funny things out there at the minute to let us off the hook as parents. It's a hugely unnatural situation for us all to be in, isn't it? And so,
oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But one of a really good way to connect with our children, like you were saying there, they're a little bit more needy. They need a bit more love and affection and attention, quite rightly so. But one way is to read together, isn't it? And I suppose, do you know, like, I'll hold my hands up. I am failing spectacularly at the homeschooling at the moment. But the teachers say if you can keep up with the numeracy and the literacy, that's all right.
Yeah. I'd say that's true, and not only that, with books, what other chance do we get to leave our sofa and travel to other worlds without even going anywhere? You know, it's an escape, isn't it, from our little bubble? It's the only thing that we can do that can break lockdown, just travel to dreamscapes and mystical places. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
Perfect. Well, you talked there about the dual narrative, the split narrative, and the book has got 2 parts and 2 front covers, and it flips over. Is that right?
It does. It does, yeah.
So tell me, the first part is told from whose perspective?
Okay, so first of all, the paperback version is in a more linear fashion, only because Amazon for some reason wouldn't allow us to flip it. But so I thought I need to keep this original concept because that was my first dream, and I wanted to keep that alive. So I said I'm not losing the flip function. So I went to a local printers who've done these beautiful bespoke hardback versions. So they just have 2 versions. One is linear, one narrative after the other. And one is the flip version, which is more like a gift offering because it's very robust and it's beautiful paper and high quality stuff. And that's the flip function one, which figuratively and literally turns the story on its head. But it always starts with the child's narrative first, so that they sort of understand something that seems relatable. And then in the middle of the book, it says, okay, let's see what Mummy's got to say about this. Let's close our books and flip it. So kids love doing that. They just flip it the whole time. For 5 minutes, you just see them flipping it before you can move on. Sorry. And And then obviously we get to see what we think about those same things. So it's relatable everyday things like hair brushing, teeth brushing, all those nightmares that you have every single day. I'm sort of seeing it from our point of view. I mean, do we dream of brushing our children's hair and being screamed at? Do we think, I can't wait to get the toothbrush on their teeth and get at those black teeth today? It's kind of addressing that, so they realise all these things that we're doing, they're for your, for you, for the future. So you've got a nice set of teeth in your head.
And your hair's not like you've been dragged through a bush backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah. So your two children, your son Nathaniel and your daughter Ellie Rose, what do they think of the book?
They love it. I mean, they really love the flip version, and they love going online. I've got a little download function online on my website, and from there you can download content around it as well. So you've got like monster making masks, so they sit there with their monster masks on, which they've all put shimmers and glitter on and everything. So they sit there with their monster masks on, and when we change narrative, they switch their face masks, so they become mummy monster and then they become baby monster. And I've got names for all the coloured monsters. So they've got like the pinky stink, which is what my daughter is, which she thinks. And you've got bogey blue, which is a bit of a diva monster. You've got an orangutang. So yeah, they love the identification element of it. So they go around looking at different monsters and working out what it is. I've tried to tie it into personality types, which is quite funny on another sort of adult layer.
Very good. Well, I love it. I love the fact that it's an interactive experience too. So if people want to download that stuff from your website, what's the web address?
Sure, it's www.lollipoplodge.com.
Thank you very much. And should mention as well, it's been illustrated by Lisa Williams, who's a Northwest illustrator. She's brilliant. She illustrated one of my friend's books, actually. So when I saw this, small world. But I have got a little excerpt of the story to play now, which is told from the children's perspective. Who narrates this?
This is Livy Corralius, and she's an up-and-coming star. You'll hear all about her, I'm sure, shortly. Fabulous. She's a little diva.
Well, Natalie Reeves Billing, your book, My Mummy is a Monster, My Children Are Monsters, is out on May the 15th, which is Friday, is that right?
Yeah, yes. I think so.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Children, listen up. Here is an excerpt of Natalie's story. You take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My children are monsters, but no one can see. And nobody knows except Daddy and me. I told Gran, but she said she already knew. So now we think Granny must see monsters too. No one else knows because monsters can hide. Even sweet children have monsters inside. There are lots of ways where parents can tell if their little angels are monsters as well. Just after breakfast, my monster kids strike. See, brushing their fur is not something they like. They scream and they shout like a Halloween ghost and tell me it's Granny that they love the most. When I'm late for work and I'm in such a big rush, they shriek at the toothpaste I put on the brush. The same one they use every day at the sink, but this morning my monsters kick up a stink. I'm tired, but we go to the park after school. They won't carry the bags and they tell me I'm cruel. Walking like zombies, they moan the whole way. So when we get there, there's no time left to play. I'm weak and I'm hungry, but no time to stop. There's so many things the kids need from the shop. Safe in the trolley, my monster kids sit. Then they take out my veg and they pound me with it. My monsters are dirty. I fill up the tub. I soak them in lovely warm water and scrub. But what do I hear? Monster shrieks, monster cries, 'cause water has gone in their big monstrous eyes. But then, when I put them to bed of a night, wrap them up snugly and turn down their light, and kiss them as they lay curled up in a ball, I wonder if my kids are monsters at all.
That's lovely. That is My Mummy is a Monster, and that part was My Children Are Monsters by Natalie Reeves Billing.